This week, the name on the marquee has got to be Ciryl Gane, who this past weekend at UFC Fight Night, Gane versus Tuivasa, styled on the very good, very tough Tai Tuivasa, defeating him by TKO at 4 minutes, 23 seconds of round number 3. Mark, let me send it over to you first, my friend. What were your thoughts? What were your impressions of this impressive performance by Ciryl Gane?
What a damn fight. Holy shit. How fucking frightening was that version of Ciryl Gane? Like, the guy already has every weapon under the sun. He already has the strike placement like you rarely see in MMA. And now he pairs it with the aggression that he showed in that fight. I mean, the beating that he put on Tai Tuivasa literally had me uncomfortable. And Tai dropped Gane in this fight. Like, he dropped him. And all I can think about is how badly Gane whipped him, which shows you just how destructive that performance was from Gane in a fight where he got dropped. All I'm thinking about is how bad he whooped the other guy. And I love Tai, man. He went for it all fight. I said it last week. I said he'd never get frustrated. He'd never mentally break. He'd always be calculating, trying to find the way to land that big shot. And that's exactly what he was doing. Like, his short hooks and his uppercuts are so damn fast. It's what keeps him dangerous. He kept trying to find a way to close that distance. He would not quit. He almost pulled off an all-time moment in round 3 when he pulled a Ian Cutelaba and faked that he was wobbled from a head kick and then tried to take off Ciryl Gane's head. If he had ever KO'd him there, that would have been fucking legendary and so perfect for the personality that Tai Tuivasa is. But, overall, he is just not equipped with the same weapons that Ciryl Gane brought into that cage. They were not fighting, they were not fighting with the same weapons. And, as I alluded to earlier, he absorbed an ungodly amount of damage to the body, to the head, everywhere. Like, the guy is just an animal, but it was to the point that I almost wanted to see it be over. And finally it was. All the damage accumulated. It was starting to feel like any big shot might finally break him, and it did. The big right comes. Gane doesn't let him off the hook. I got to say, I did not love that hammer fist to the back of Tai's head. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it. I noticed it live, like, right away. There's just not a legal strike that he could have been attempting there, so I don't really even get what that was, other than I'm hammer fisting this guy to the back of the head. So I didn't love that, but I also don't want to take anything away from Gane because he would have won without it, and this was a huge night for Ciryl Gane. I don't know if it was him that made an active decision to up his aggression, or if Tai was just the perfect opponent to bring it out of him, because a lot of other people get hit by Gane and they're like, fuck, he keeps hitting me. He's so good I can't stop it. I'm going to stay back here. Whereas Tai was just like, well, I'm marching forward because I'm Tai Tuivasa. So it could have been a blend of those two things, but it was exactly the type of fight that Ciryl Gane needed. The crowd behind him, the aggression that he showed, the show he put on to get dropped and tough it out, and then the finish. It was all just a star-making performance for Ciryl Gane, and one that he needed to really keep himself right on the edge of this title picture, despite the fact that he just fought for one fight ago. Because now you got people, he originally, before this fight, he was like, yeah, Ciryl Gane, he's kind of this technique guy, wins decisions. Now people are really high on Ciryl Gane and talking about Ciryl Gane. Absolutely. So that was huge for him. And it was just a great fight. The whole vibe in there, the French crowd behind him, that sequence in the second round where Tai drops him, he survives, he gets up, he obliterates Tai to the body with multiple shots. Tai survives. They're swinging like crazy for the final minute. The French crowd is like falling out of their seats. It was just, it was a moment. That was a perfect main event for the debut in Paris, and obviously the perfect winner for them to have.
Omar, you're a Muay Thai guy. What was your take on the tremendous Muay Thai on display by the former Muay Thai champ, Ciryl Gane?
While everybody was probably at home screaming their heads off every time Gane was whipping kicks to Tai's body, I was definitely at home going, God damn it, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, I felt every single one of them. I felt everyone go deep into my stomach. They were bad, bro. They were absolutely bad.
Oh, so
I
bad.
was wondering how many ribs Tuivasa must have broken by the end of that fight, or at least cracked or something. And there's not really much you can do with broken ribs. I don't know if anybody really knows that. There's not really much you do to them, short of them trying to penetrate your organs to some degree. Doctors literally go, well, it's going to suck to breathe for the next few weeks. We're going to wrap you up and have a good one. Here's some oxy or whatever. There's not really much to do there other than just let them heal and deal with the pain. So don't envy Tai Tuivasa, though he looked relatively good. I don't know if you guys saw his video from, I think he was in Disneyland Paris.
Yeah,
which
man, it's insane.
smoking a joint, chilling out. I mean, I don't know what the hell that kid is made out of, but the head kick that he took would have killed lesser men. Let's be serious. Not even knocked out. He probably would have killed somebody with that head kick. Every single one of those shots was devastating. I didn't understand how Ty was taking most of them. Maybe the first couple I give you, it's the way it goes, but dude, by like the 12th or 13th kick, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And just like Mark, once we got to the third round, I realized, bro, there's 2 more rounds of this shit, and I don't really know if Tuivasa is going away, and I really want him to right now because the damage that kid was taking was just not great.
Yeah.
And I am glad, for the sake of Tuivasa's future and his body, I was glad that the fight was over, not so much wanting Tuivasa to lose, but that was the Gane I think we all want to see going forward. That's the Gane that I would pay $70 for, $80 for, whatever the nonsense is. That's the guy. That's the heavyweight we're all worried about. That's the heavyweight that had all that hype behind him. But now Gane has put himself in a position where we know he can do that. We've seen it. Now he needs to make sure it happens again. Otherwise, he potentially could fall into the issues that Izzy's having right now, where people are criticizing him for not stepping on the gas pedal and playing the counter striking and not really pushing the game forward. If it means bringing Ciryl Gane back to Paris with that savage ass crowd every time, then bring him back to Paris every time. Because first of all, we were talking about crowds the other week. How nasty is that Paris crowd?
Dude,
Makes me want to learn French so I could chant whatever it is that they were chanting, because that crowd is amazing. I loved every bit of it. It's hard to say that it wasn't very much like London, short of there not being a Paddy and a Molly personality to make that just completely go off the rails. One would say it was very similar crowd to London. It was fantastic. And for Ciryl to really, you could see he was reveling in it. He was soaking it up. Some people get almost taken over by the moment, but he was he was in it, man. He was swimming in it in the best way possible, and it really worked for him. So he needs more of that. We all need more of that Ciryl Gane. And John Jones, for that, he's been on everybody's name now that, Ciryl Gane came out with that performance. Everybody knows John Jones's game is going to be to take this man down and ground and pound him. And if Ngannou can do that to him, God help him. However, I don't think Gane is dumb, and I think Gane knows that's what the thing is, the game plan is going to be. Mm-hmm. And if Gane can style like that against somebody like John Jones with the takedown acumen that he's going to need, God help John Jones. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, the going back to the blow to the back of the head in the closing moments of the fight. If you're the referee, this is a tough one. Like, if you're the referee, do you stop it? Do you guys, if you were the ref, would you have stepped in?
If I felt that he hit him in the area below the skull and like on the neck, then yes. But to me, I thought he hit him sort of at the top here, at the cranium, where it's still skull.
Well, that's illegal either way, but I thought it was lower. They're both illegal.
They're both not great. Yes, I will give you that.
It has to be here.
It's supposed to be right, like just behind the ear, essentially.
Yeah, on the sides.
Yeah, it was a weird choice of strike. I don't really know why he was throwing that in the first place.
What I'm saying.
It was
what?
just
You can't tell me something he thought he was throwing that was legal. Like, Ty is bent over, he raises his fist like this and slams into the back of his head. Like, there's no.
Yeah. It was it seemed very much like a moment where Gane was like, I'm gonna hit him, hit him, hit him, and it was just fucking going off,
He was
throwing
like, go,
whatever
finish,
he could.
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best control. I think he's going to need better control going forward because he might get screwed if he keeps doing that going, in later fights, especially if something's on the line. But he got lucky at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Junior Dos Santos. I mean, the leeway is really
that it's in motion. He's basically swarming Tuivasa. Tuivasa is flailing around, getting fucked up.
That's what makes it.
That's why the ref might defend himself of why he didn't stop it.
I agree.
You can stop it. I think it's so close to being over that it's almost like this was over whether he threw that strike or not.
Right.
Yeah. There is a lot of movement.
The
there is a lot of movement going on there, and so one would argue that it wasn't clear. It wasn't that Tuivasa moved his head into that kind of strike. But Junior Dos Santos, for Mark was talking about, no one was talking about it. That's all Junior Dos Santos is talking about. Junior Dos Santos is not happy with Ciryl Gane. He has called him a cheater and a dirty fighter. He says he did the same thing to him with that elbow way back when. Junior Santos cannot let that go. Yeah. Junior Santos is not happy.
Hey man, everything I've seen of Ciryl Gane, behind the scenes backstage, he seems like the nicest guy.
Oh yeah, he does.
And a pretty humble guy. But also, I think just to stick with this one more point, there is an argument there. I feel just to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
To say if you're the ref, you do stop it, even if it is in a finishing, potential finishing sequence, because you say, okay, you could have finished him, but this is your fault, Ciryl Gane, and now he gets 5 minutes to recover. He's going to recover from this blow to the back of the head, and he's also recovering from all the other blows you've landed because this is your fault, Ciryl Gane. So I think there is an argument for there to be responsibility on the part of the striker.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get that. I'm glad it didn't happen because I didn't want to see Ty get hit anymore.
Right.
But true. I do get that.
Well, what do we think is next for these two heavyweights, guys? Let's start with the
by the
winner.
way, Mike, I saw your face. Did you not, when I was talking, did you not realize when Ty faked being wobbled? Did you not catch that?
I've heard some people point that out. The comparison to Cutelaba. In the moment, do we know that it was faked? I felt like it was. I thought he definitely was a little wobbled.
I also not completely convinced that it was a complete fake.
Oh, really? I felt like it was obvious.
I don't think it was a complete fake. I think he got rocked. I just think he's able to get his shit together. I mean, look at how rocked he was throughout the second and third round.
As soon as Gane stepped forward, he went from doing this to lunging forward with a right. And then when he missed the right, he was jumping up and down fighting. That was a damn quick recovery.
Because he's a fucking tank,
real.
That's why.
Yeah, he is a tank. He is a tank.
And maybe it's because in my head he should have been rocked from that. That should be the reaction to what happened.
I forget, shoulder or I forget what he had up. But it wasn't clean head.
Oh, it wasn't?
I'll tell you this. If you are blocking a head kick, right, in a proper way, you're still going to feel that shit, dog. It's still going to hit you in the head.
So I thought...
Not as cleanly.
If I got to watch it again. He definitely could have been totally faking it and sort of trying to goad him in. I also feel like he could have been using it, using his wobbledness to his advantage, because he's a crazy person, Tai Tuivasa. And I love him for that. Yeah. Either way, let's talk about the future of these two guys. Let's start with, what? I said let's start with Gane. Let's start with Tuivasa, because now we're talking about him for the moment. I feel like Tai Tuivasa, if he has lost a little bit of stock from this loss, because Ciryl Gane, he did overall kind of style on him, I don't think Tuivasa has lost much stock. So, Mark, tell us where you would put Tuivasa next in terms of a heavyweight matchup if you were the matchmaker for the UFC.
I agree. He didn't lose much stock. And we've said this before. He did get to this level kind of quick and skipped guys to get here. If you look back at this 5-fight win streak, it was Stefan Struve, Harry Hunsucker, Greg Hardy, Augusto Sakai, who now looks worse, and then Derek Lewis. Obviously, that one counts. That one's huge. But he hasn't fought most of this top 10. Or if he did, it's a guy like Spivak, who he actually lost to, years back. So there's a lot of guys he can fight here. I do think he needs... Well, and also, I wanted to say, although he got kind of jumped to this level, I thought he hung really well with Ciryl Gane. As you said, I don't think he lost much in that performance
100%.
He forced Ciryl Gane to fight in a way that a lot of people have not been able to do.
He's the first person to knock down Ciryl Gane in the UFC.
Or even remotely hurt Ciryl Gane.
Yep.
So I don't think he lost much. I would like him to get so like you could say right now, like, okay, maybe he should fight like a Pavlovich, considering they both knocked out Derek Lewis. They're at similar places, someone like that. If I'm booking Ty, I want to put him in a fight where he's not going to be at risk of getting finished twice in a row, because I feel like that sort of hurts that Ty aura a little bit. So I'm going to stay away from like a one-shot killer like a Pavlovich. I'm going to go Volkov. I think that Volkov's coming off a win. I think that fight makes sense for both guys.
Omar, any other heavyweight names you'd match up with Tuivasa?
Stylistically, that's a very difficult fight for Tuivasa, I think. Volkov likes to play that outside game, and that technical
we're
game
here now.
might.
He's got to show that he can beat some of these guys.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you. It's a tall order. The other name I had kind of on the tip of my tongue, and I know at this point Curtis Blades ain't fighting anybody unless they have a belt around their waist, and I don't know how that strategy is going to work for him, but I'm pretty sure that's his game plan for right now. I would be interested to see Tai Tuivasa versus Tom Aspinall. I don't know currently what Tom Aspinall's time frame is right now with his blown knee.
That was be a while, I would imagine, right?
But how long ago? But how long ago was that now? Like a month, 2 months ago now?
I think he got the surgery maybe like a month ago. Is it not that long that he's out? In my head, I've had him out for like a year. Is that wrong?
I figured he would start training after 6, 8 months, something like that.
Training, sure.
Tuivasa, first of all, Tuivasa needs
But training
time.
doesn't mean training camp.
Tuivasa needs
to lay in a hospital bed for a month. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even like that he's out and about.
Yeah. Tuivasa, in my opinion, shouldn't fight for the rest of the year. Like, that's like 2022, you're done. Like, you're done, son.
We know that Ciryl Gane has a medical suspension. Does Tuivasa have one for any
God,
kind of?
He should.
Like, I
He
really
should.
hope so.
So that's actually true. So good point, Mike. Ciryl Gane, for those of you who don't know, did break his hand. So he's going to be out, I would say minimum like 3-4 months at least.
Wow.
Just to get that figured out. I'm not sure if he needs surgery or not. From the picture, the x-ray, probably, because that bone is not connected to anything right now. So he might be out for quite a bit, and then there's rehab and all that other shit. So
That's got to be the most badass of workplace injuries. Of like, oh, how'd you break your hand? I broke it on my coworker's face.
Yeah,
Quite a
with
coworker.
Tuivasa walking around with that beanbag looking fucking welt on his rib, like if he had just gotten shot by a beanbag round. It's ridiculous.
Dude, he looked like he was getting shot.
It was so bad, man. Those body shots. I don't even know how he's walking with all those body shots.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
why. I mean, I kind of like the Tom Aspinall matchup because Aspinall's going to be out until probably next summer, and I wouldn't mind a Tuivasa.
That was my guess, yeah.
After a heavyweight beating like that, it's like, bro, take some time, man. Because we love him and we want him back in at the full capacity. I want him to be like the tough New Zealand. Oh no, he's Australian, but still, you know what I mean. Like the what's it called? What's the tattoo that he's got? What the Polynesian? That like Polynesian warrior mentality.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I talking about? I don't even know.
I'd be surprised if I was out for that long, but I guess it's possible.
Let's
I
talk
hope
about
they
the
don't let
winner
him
here.
fight for at least the rest of the year. But
Yeah. Let's talk about the winner here, Ciryl Gane. In his post-fight Octagon interview, he mentioned the belt. He only wants the belt. We know that right now. The man with the belt, his name is Francis Ngannou, who already beat him. So he's basically calling for the rematch. But Omar, if you were the matchmaker for the UFC right now, what would you want to do with Ciryl Gane next?
so if I'm Sean Shelby, if I'm creepy little Sean Shelby, I'm probably gonna take Ciryl Gane and be like, listen, I'm gonna have you fight Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is not gonna like this, but we're gonna do it anyway. And then I'm gonna call Curtis Blades and be like, we're gonna give you Ciryl Gane, and Curtis is gonna be like, no, fuck you, I want Ngannou, and I'm gonna go, listen, I know what you want, but you're gonna get Ciryl Gane, and then whoever wins that fight gets Ngannou.
Man, poor Curtis Blades.
I kind of agree, right? Like Curtis Blades, I feel like keeps getting screwed, but the reality is Ciryl, that performance from Ciryl Gane is so like if Ciryl Gane hadn't just lost
I had to look it up because you made me think I was wrong. But Curtis Blades asked for Ciryl Gane as soon as Gane.
Oh, he did.
Literally called him out.
Amen. It just didn't seem like a Curtis Blades move. Curtis Blades had talked so much shit about not fighting now until he was getting the belt.
It was Gane that actually responded and said he doesn't want Curtis Blades, that he only wants something that's for the belt or whatever.
Then you take my scenario and you flip it. Curtis Blades is the one being like, get him. Ciryl Gane saying, fuck you. So either way, that fight, though, needs to happen. And I think Ciryl Gane is a little crazy if he thinks he's going to get the next title shot after having just lost to Ngannou. He needs to fight the guy that, frankly, should be fighting next for the title, which is Curtis Blades. And I think had Gane had a whack performance, a bullshit performance, something that like was one of his decisions that no one is really talking about, we would have no problem just giving the next title shot to Curtis Blades. But Gane put on a fucking clinic. Gane put on work. It was a fantastic fight, a fantastic performance, a devastating performance, and it does make you want to see Ngannou versus Gane 2, but just maybe not right away. Like, give me Blades first. Let's get that out of the way, and if Blades falters again, that's on him, and then we get the title shot right after.
I mean, it's a great fight, man. Stylistically, size-wise, also,
dude, you can't not make this fight. It has to happen.
Okay, moving on, Mark. Well, not moving on quite yet. Mark, give us weigh in here. Any other names you suggest other than Curtis Blades?
Yeah, I mean, there is a very clear top 5 guys who are in this title picture at heavyweight. And only 2 of them are fighting. And it's Ciryl Gane and Curtis Blades. So it kind of feels like that's what we have to do. I mean, it's a mess up there. Francis Ngannou is the champ, obviously. He's still hurt. Stipe Miocic is in witness protection somewhere. John Jones every 2 months teases that he's fighting and then he's not fighting. It's who knows what's going to fucking happen. Like maybe Bones and Stipe still doesn't happen by the time Francis is healthy. And the UFC is just like, all right, fuck it. We're going to do the Francis Stipe trilogy. And then maybe Ciryl Gane ends up being able to slip into a John Jones fight, which I'm sure he'd rather do than fight Curtis Blades. Like, who knows how this is all going to play out? There's obviously ways that it could get weird. But just looking at it straightforwardly, Ciryl Gane needs to fight Curtis Blades. As you said, it is the perfect style matchup. It is the one thing, really, that Ciryl Gane has not had to stand across from yet, which is a wrestler. And funny enough, we saw him get handled by Francis Ngannou, who's not even one in that department. So it is a big question that's out there. As good as Ciryl Gane is looking, can he beat a guy like a Curtis Blades? So I think it's got to happen. I know both guys may feel like, hey, I just deserve to be fighting for the title or fighting fucking, John Jones in a huge fight. But this is where we're at, and I think they got to fight each other.
I can easily envision a situation with these guys where because neither one of them wants to fight anybody else other than the champion, that we might have like long, dragged-out contract disputes between the UFC and Gane and the UFC and Blades, and we might not. I don't know. I almost want to say we might not ever see them fight. We might not see them fight until like next summer. I don't know.
Don't forget we're dealing with contract disputes with Ngannou at this point too.
That too, right?
That is still ongoing, and I don't think has been resolved.
No, I don't think so either. But here's the thing: if they do fight each other, they know that if they win that fight, they are guaranteed to fight for either the title against the guy people call the heavyweight GOAT in Stipe, or the guy some people call the all-time GOAT in John Jones.
Yeah.
So, all you got to do is get one more win, and you're guaranteed to fight one of those 3 enormous fights. So
to be fair,
I pass on it.
I feel like Curtis Blades keep getting told that shit, though. Just one more. Then they give him some motherfucking guy because they want him to lose. Just one more.
I don't know if I agree with that at all.
I think he's great. Curtis Blades is so good.
I think he's great. I don't think he's the most charismatic guy. I don't think he does,
I think
he's not going to sell millions of pay-per-views and whatever.
He's coming
else.
out of his shell more and more, but yes, he's not a big personality in the sport.
Since he got knocked out by Derek Lewis, all he has done is beat Rosenstrike and Dawkins, and then Aspinall Blues in the out in 10 seconds. it's not exactly like we're robbing Curtis Blades of a title shot.
Well said. Fair point. Let's move on. Anything else you guys want to say about this fight between Tuivasa and Gane?
No, we talked about that for quite a while. Let's move on.
Let's move on. In the co